Hey, that was quick. Where y'all been? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at, Facebook? Where y'all at? um, so I feel so silly. Um, so as I promised, I'm coming back, but only for a few short minutes, just to touch bases with y'all on some thoughts, some conversations that I had the opportunity to have with some of my colleagues about all of this stuff, about all of this mess. Hey, how are you? You got to like authenticate your name on here so that I can see who's making the comments. So at the end of the day, hey, y'all are in a good mood for a Tuesday. Thank goodness. So a couple things, y'all. First of all, this is a mess. All this is a big, major Kalamazoo County messy mess. Uh, I talked to y'all a little bit earlier, but I want to get right into the meat of it because I don't want to stay here long. The fact of the matter is that there were some staff, apparently employees, and some commissioners who had concern about about a certain commissioner. And let me back up. Let me back up and preface this and say to y'all, I had absolutely nothing to do with this. This ain't my stuff. This is not my mess. I'm not involved. I ain't got nothing to do with none of this. This is the inside people who are the majority who are battling each other. This ain't my stuff, my fight. It's above my pay grade. This day stuff. I ain't got nothing to do with none of that. That being said, I just want to tell y'all the little bit that I know and how I know. So, what happened was a few weeks ago, last month, our former board chair showed up at a county commission meeting. And when the meeting began, she stepped down in leadership. I didn't know. I had no idea. Matter of fact, my internet was even messing up. I missed half of the little speech and everything. By the time I got connected back on, all kind of stuff was popping off. I had absolutely no idea. No one told me, informed me. I never had a clue to ask questions. This did not involve me at all whatsoever. It's just not my stuff, period. I ain't got nothing to do with this, y'all. So the lady, she, makes her speech. She steps down immediately. The county board of commissioners, we immediately elect a new chair who is now Chair Tracy Hall. We elect a new vice chair. We continue on with the county business. 2 days later, that Thursday night, I get a phone call in the evening from a county employee who says, Stephanie, girl, guess what? They just spilled all the tea. They was like, look, girl, let me just tell you what's really going on. So they got to telling me about all of this stuff around abuse of power, micromanaging, abusing staff, drinking intoxicated while conducting business, interfering with, during the pandemic, poor leadership, everything that you see outlined in that Mlive request. A county employee called me on that Thursday night and just ran it all down to me. Stephanie, this is the real reason. This is what happened. This is why the board leadership stepped down. And then they tell me that 3 of the commissioners on our county board of commissioners have been working together. They have met with this commissioner and literally demanded that she step down. They said, we want you to step down, leave. You can't be in leadership no more. And this is why, because we got proof of this, and this, right? So that's what was told to me as why leadership stepped down. Again, let me preface this by saying I had nothing to do with these conversations. I had no idea any of this was going on in the background. As far as I know, the full board did not have working knowledge of all of this stuff that was going on in the background. So fast forward, I get the call and I'm thinking about it and I'm saying, you know what? From what the employee just told me, when I put a timeline to it, and this is what's disturbing me, y'all. That's why I want to be very transparent with you all of why I'm taking the position that I'm taking. The things that were happening at the time, particularly in March when we first shut down, Y'all, we had no idea about the impact of the coronavirus, Corona-19. We didn't know what was going to happen. At the time, Kalamazoo County's numbers were low in terms of positive cases for a couple reasons. One, we did not have adequate testing. If we had adequate testing early on, our numbers would have been much, much higher. We would have known who was positive, where they was, or whatever. The other reason is that we didn't have really a strategy of how we were going to get information, not just out to the public, but working with the employers, businesses, HR departments, all kind of stuff, right? And it was hard for us to do that because even county government has shut down. We were not open to the public. The majority of our employees were working from home or disconnected and trying to figure out how they were going to stay healthy, safe, COVID free, all that stuff, rightfully so. So in the very beginning, it hit us hard, fast. It was serious, but we just did not know the depth of the impact we were going to have, right? This was new to all of us. And in the very beginning, a lot of things were happening that were extremely inappropriate, that were being asked. And so I just pushed back and I said, wait a minute, we shouldn't be doing these things. We should be focusing on this virus, figuring out what it is, what its impact is, but more importantly, how do we empower our residents countywide to protect themselves, access testing, medical assistance, medical care, all those things. To me, that was my first and foremost priority. So as the county employee was walking me through all of the things that was happening, when it was happening, and who was doing the stuff, I immediately was heartbroken. And I said, wait a minute. Because not only do we have people that are positive, now we got bodies. Now we have people that are dying. We have a young man, I mentioned him earlier, Bassi Alfian, who was a student at Western Michigan University, young 23-year-old, not even in his prime, in his youth, full of life, intelligent young man, lost his life due to COVID-19. In Kalamazoo, he tried to get tested. He went from the campus to a hospital, to the clinic, back to the hospital. He couldn't get any medical care for whatever reason. He ended up driving to his hometown of Detroit. He finally got checked into a hospital where later he died due to complications of COVID-19. So when I'm hearing the story of what's going on, I'm thinking about this young man. Could have been something we could have done, said, provided, had access to, or whatever, that could have prevented this baby, this young, vibrant Black man from losing his life. Could we have been doing anything other than this drama, this mess, this mismanagement, this poor lack of leadership, this stuff? Could we have been doing anything other than that could have protected this young man and potentially saved his life? Now, I know we ain't God, and he decides what happens and according to my belief. But what I feel bad about is these things were happening when we were just trying to live, to be healthy, to be well. So as they were going through the story and they was telling me things that were happening, where we as a community were coming together to try to figure out face masks. How do we create enough face masks to disseminate to the community, especially to first responders and essential workers? And we already know that the majority of the essential workers around here are some of the most vulnerable people in the community, Black, brown, whatever, poor, economically depressed. Those are the folks who needed our help, our services, our information. They needed Kalamazoo County and every resource and partnership that Kalamazoo County had to offer first and foremost, more than somebody's political strategies and all this other stuff. So you all, when I heard what had happened, I did not interpret that to how it could impact a campaign. What I interpreted that is, oh my God, some people have died. More people are positive. Even more are impacted. Even more than that are being compromised, and senior citizens are dying, employers haven't quite figured out how to protect employees, and people are jeopardizing their life, the lives of their children, going to work, coming home on public transportation, going to the grocery store, picking up prescriptions and this and that. Everybody all around is impacted, compromised, and potentially could have gotten the virus and maybe even died from it. That's where I was. Like, what in the world are y'all doing? And we out here dying. I believe that all of this stuff that was told to me on that Thursday night left the county, left the community vulnerable. I believe it caused harm, or it perpetuated even more harm. And I believe that a lot of this could have been resulted if practices were put in place, if policies were followed, if the full board had an opportunity to know, to understand, to weigh in. I believe that a lot of this stuff we could have prevented the health and vitality and viability and sustainability of the community. So, needless to say, y'all, I was pissed. I'm mad. I have friends who are struggling trying to survive this disease. I have friends and family that have died from this disease. I have colleagues, co-workers, who family members. This hit home even personally for me and my immediate family. So I think that during this time of uncertainty, during this time where we should have been banding together to do everything that we could to protect our employees, our community, our residents, families, and especially our children, I think that a lot of other things were happening downtown or from people's homes, computers, or whatever, that wasn't lining up with what I believe should have been happening. So I was pissed. I was mad, and I'm still mad. We can't bring people back from the dead. Sometimes there's not a lot we can say to individuals who's lost loved ones. Yes, we empathize, we sympathize, we can grieve, we can send our condolences. But when people leave here, that's it. It's final. I want to do everything in my power to prevent people from leaving here when it's not their time, when it could be prevented. And so the stuff was going on. So when someone came to me, like I said, the county employee came to me and told me what's happened, the first thing I said to them is, you have a duty to disclose. First and foremost, you, everything in you, you have to disclose this to your colleagues, which means all 11 county board of commissioners. And then you got to bring us together so we can work together on how we address all of this, how all of this stuff is happening, how all of this stuff is coming forward, so we can adequately address pushing the unnecessary stuff, the mess, the drama, the BS aside, so we can preserve life, so we can sustain life, so we can work on stability and viability. And just from a humanistic point, take care of our people. That's what I wanted. That's how I wanted to see happen. So I reached out to all of my colleagues and administration, and I said, listen, y'all, I don't know what this is that I just heard. I don't know if it's true or if it's not true. But if it is true, you have a duty to disclose it. It is your moral obligation, legal and ethical obligation, to bring your full board into this so we can work. We can do our work and do better at protecting county residents. And after that, it just hit the fan. Stuff just was flying everywhere. Again, I want to say to y'all, I ain't got nothing to do with this. This ain't my mess. I had nothing to do with conversations happening behind the scenes. I don't know who called, who emailed, who texted, who. I had nothing to do with none of that, because I want to tell y'all where I was during all of this drama, all of this infighting, all of this tattletelling, all of this, I'm finna, pounce on you so I can take you down. While all of this is happening, y'all, I'm on the phone with the CEO of a healthcare facility in Kalamazoo, where we're literally scrounging the earth trying to find COVID-19 testing, where we're really looking all over the world to figure out where we can procure enough tests so that they would have it available for people in Kalamazoo to get tested, to have access to medical care, to understand what they needed to do to protect themselves and their loved ones from this dangerous virus. That's where I was. That's what I was doing. I was also working with folks in the community doing education on this is how you stay safe, washing your hands, wearing your mask. I'm also out on the ground with laundry detergent, bleach, ammonia, all the things that the community needed to maintain hygiene so that we can reduce and or hopefully stop the spread of this deadly virus. While all of this stuff is going on, I'm on the phone with state and national partners. I'm calling the governor's office. I'm doing everything that I can to ask, we need help. We need resources. We need more than what has been given to us to protect our community, especially the most vulnerable. At that time, when all of this was happening, I mentioned to you our numbers were low because testing was not available or adequately available. One of the health centers that see the largest numbers of patients every week in our community was only given 52 tests, 52 to last them from March until September. That was not acceptable to us. So I was trying to literally figure out where can we get these tests. I'm on the phone. I got Latasha Brown all the way in Georgia who represents Black Voters Matter. She calling her friend, her friend, her friend, all the way from sororities to fraternities to chemists to biologists, whoever we could to figure out where can we get tests at a reasonable price and the highest quantity so that we can adequately assess what's happening here in our community so we can help our people. We can keep them alive, keep them healthy, keep their children healthy. That's where I was, y'all. That's what I was doing. That stuff they was doing at the county, I wasn't nowhere near, nowhere apart, and I wouldn't have been a part of that stuff. The other thing that was happening during that time is I was on the front grounds handing out free face masks. Not only were we giving out free face masks to people in the community on the Northeast and the South Side, but we were showing them how to use the mask when it was appropriate. We were collecting data on people if they had access to it, if they understood, all of this stuff. We was doing our best to look out for the people. I was doing my best. I don't know what they was doing behind closed doors. So when I say to y'all, this is very frustrating for me because how this has been handled, what has happened, all of this stuff that's perpetuated all the way up to now that now county government is facing a potential lawsuit from Mlive because they're just trying to access the records to substantiate what Kalamazoo County government put out. And if y'all remember, county government put out a written letter that said this person, commissioner, was forced to step down from this leadership role because she did this, and that. And y'all know they use a lot of words from harassment to bullying to micromanagement to stepping outside of her scope of leadership and her role and all that other stuff. I had nothing to do with that. I know nothing about that. But what I can tell you is that I do applaud my colleagues, the few that stepped up to try to address the situation. Where I'm deeply concerned at is the process or the lack thereof, because it's that issue that has gotten us to where we are today, that is draining county resources, that is putting more money towards legal issues, that has taken away our staff, our upper management ability to work on significant issues and policies pertaining to this community, that has drained so much energy and resources. And it also has had an impact on the quality of life and the loss of life in Kalamazoo. And that's why I'm not happy and I'm not participating in none of that stuff. It's awful, the things that have happened. And it's unfortunate that it even happened during a political season. And so that being said, I didn't go into closed session. I'm not going to be bothered with this Mlive hearing, because this should not be what the county is spending its limited resources on, is defending the egregious actions, I believe, of one individual that has caused so much harm that it had literally even impacted people's lives to whether they lived or died, whether they had access to the tools and the resources that they needed that determined if they lived or died. I think that is absolutely outrageous. I'm not getting into that mess. I said to y'all earlier, this is the majority. People in the inside department, fighting and arguing and tussling with the majority of the people that's elected on to represent the outside, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm minding my business. I believe I'm doing my work. I believe I was trying to help save some lives, educate and empower some people. I had nothing to do with none of that. I want to cuss, but I ain't. I had nothing to do with that mess that they had going on down there. So that's why I'm not participating. And I also know that they play so many harmful games that they will mismanage and misappropriate this information to the point where it will cause me harm, the people that I love, the work that I do with nonprofit organizations, that I'm not willing to put myself or them in harm's way, especially knowing how these individuals, these particular public servants, county commissioners act. And I'm talking about ones that serve in the same party with me. And let me be clear, I'm a Democrat through and through. My family, generationally, historically, we are very progressive, very strong Democrats. We have those beliefs. And so I've never swayed from that before, and I won't now. But I'm telling you, when it comes to being a Black woman, Democrat, elected in office, trying to serve and represent her community and the community as a whole, the game changed. It changes for real, for real. My voice isn't often, it's heard because y'all know I be talking, I speak up. I'm gonna say what I gotta say and I'm gonna be matter of factual about it. It's not listened to, respected, and brought in so that we can do some things. So that's not my loss, that's their loss, which often turns into be the community's loss. So back on track here. That being said, there are some arguments that a couple of my colleagues had with me in the last 48 hours about why they are not going to vote to release this information. One of the arguments is that they want to protect the privacy of the employees. I absolutely believe that an employee has the right to have a conversation with someone, express their what's going on, their situation, what's happening, especially if they feel oppressed or if they feel like they're being mistreated, if they feel like their job is a hostile working environment. I absolutely believe that they have a right to do that. I also believe that the county has a way of redacting that person's name and even the department that they work in if they want to, without exposing that individual, but allowing the information to flow about the characterization and the actions of a public official. If you did something to that individual, then we don't have to put the individual's name, but we should be able to freely say that this is what this public official did. Employees are protected, but elected officials, public figures, we're not as much protected because everything we do requires transparency and accountability. And so they're saying we're not going to release the documents because what's in the document could allow somebody to know who this employee is, and that employee could face retribution. I dismiss that argument because the employees in question, any employee is not hired by the County Board of Commission. We don't hire those folks. We hire our administrator. The administrator fires, reprimands, do whatever she thinks is necessary in terms of their growth, development, and job sustainability. So there's nothing that none of us can go to the administrator and say, hey, I think you should fire such and such because they just tattletaled on me. So that's why I dismissed that argument. Then the argument was, yeah, but if they know who that employee is, then their people, their minions, their monsters, their alien, whoever, they can find out who the person's spouse is, their niece and nephew is, their cousins in Iowa, and they can go and write letters to their jobs, their schools, and this and that, and harass them. I dismissed that argument as well. Because first of all, we can't control none of that. Second of all, if any person, I don't care where you work or who you related to or what issues you have, if you are facing any type of aggressive behavior, discrimination, anybody attacking you for any reason, that's what we got law enforcement. That's what we got policies and procedures on our jobs. That's why we have the protections in place, whether it be for discrimination or whatever, protections in the workplace. Those exist. And those protections are real. And I think that if anybody experiences anything, that number one, you gotta report it, and then you gotta trace it back to who you think it comes to, and then let the process play out and people be held accountable. So I dismissed the fact that it could have been a coulda, woulda, shoulda, maybe. That's just you playing games. I ain't trying to hear none of that. Second of all, they're saying that, well, we got to protect the documents because what in there is so descriptive that it causes a lot of liability to the county in terms of people can sue us, county employees, people on the outside, taxpayers, other people can sue us. Okay, well, if in fact that is the case, then if you do not release the documents, then you got to do a couple of things. One, you got to have an immediate internal investigation to prove that if what's in those documents is actually true. It is that's what's really keeping us from putting this stuff out here, because this stuff is true. If it's liable, if it's factual, if it causes harm to an employee or to the whole freaking county, then by God, you gotta take action against that individual. If this individual has caused so much harm, damage, if they have done so much to the not just the employees, but the outcomes that we're having in the community, then as a county board of commission, you have no choice but to take some type of action to the fullest extent that you can against this one individual. And if you fail to take action, and if you fail to release the information that you're saying is so harmful inside and out, then that means you have completely failed your job as a public leader. You cannot have it both ways, all ways, and any ways. You got to do what's right. So if you hide the information, hold the person accountable. If you give the information, hold the person accountable. There's still accountability and transparency is at play in all of this. Then they turn around and they said to me, well, Stephanie, politics is in play, and we're going to have an election, and if we release this information now, it may skew the outcome of the election, and then a seat that has always been held by one majority party is in the balance of not being held by the majority party, so we got to protect the seat. Okay, I agree. Blue, stay blue. However, you can't do that at the expense of people and their lives and their livelihoods. There's other things you can do. You can run your other candidate. You can throw your cousin in there. There's other things you can do, but you cannot put your knee on the neck of the entire community trying to save one person's political career. I think that that's absolutely outrageous. And the person that you say you're trying to save the political career for is the same person that you said just damn near destroyed local government. Make it make sense to me, y'all. I don't know. Maybe I might be wrong. Y'all know my lens is different. I'm visually impaired. I wear glasses, so maybe I'm not seeing things correctly. So all I'm saying is that if what you said was true, when Kalamazoo County wrote a letter, county officials, county legal counsel, county corporate counsel, the county's lawyer read that letter, approved that letter, and said, okay, board leadership, y'all can put this out in the universe. Y'all can say this about one of y'all colleagues because it's true. Go ahead and say it. But then now you can't back it up. You can't show receipts. You can't show the public that we said this and we stand by this because we got proof of this. Then what are y'all doing? And why are you doing it? And to what end? Help me understand. Because we still in a pandemic. People are still sick. Some people are still dying. We are off focus. Our resources are being redirected to this mess. People are still hurting. Homelessness is still an issue. Violence, discrimination, housing is still an issue. Unemployment is still an issue. People not having food on their table, access to transportation, all of the things that are plaguing this community still exists, and we focusing on everything but that. Help me understand, or like the young folks say, make it make sense. It's just not making sense to me. So either you're going to clean house, move some things around, and start operating in a professional manner so that you can address issues in decent order, in timely order, in a way that actually preserves the all of the resources of the county, or you're going to keep doing all of this infighting and messy way of doing things and bickering and he said, she said, and I said it, but I can't prove it. I can't back it up to the point now you don't pushed us into a public hearing. You don't pushed us into a potential lawsuit with a media group of all people. Come on, y'all. I'm back to my question. What are we doing? Why? And to what end? And how much more does the community have to suffer before enough is enough? That's all I want to know. So give out the information. Don't give out the information, hide, lie, or whatever. And lastly, I want to end with this because I have high regard, great respect for my friend who is the chair of the county board, Tracy Hall. I always will. I always have. She's more than a friend. She's like a sister to me. She's someone that I'm proud to say that I stand beside, and will do everything I can to support her and to support her leadership. And I think that the county not backing her up, the county not supporting her and coming out and saying that these are the things that are happening, this is what happened, and this is how it's documented, I think it plays at her credibility. I think that, some people can easily say either you a drama queen, either you lied, or maybe both. And y'all don't say that about my friend. Y'all, none of y'all, if you ever even think that, y'all better delete yourself from my page right now because that's my girl. And she did the right thing. She's trying to do the right thing. What I'm saying is that a lot of stuff is happening. So to fast forward so I can wrap this all up, this is what's going to happen. They're getting ready to start a meeting at 5 p.m. in less than 10 minutes. You will see that they will go in, a few things will happen down the agenda, and then they will have this public hearing. The county will say why the county should not release the documents. The Mlive will say why they should release the documents. And then the board can ask questions, the Board of Commissioners, and then the board will be able to vote. They will be able to vote if they should release them, not release them, release some of them or something. I don't know. They'll give us some instructions on what to do. But at the end of the day, I think no matter what happens here, there still has to be some action and accountability from this full Board of Commissioners. It only takes 6 votes. A majority of the 11 is 6. So only 6 votes to decide if yes or no, right? What we know for a fact is that 6 of the members fully endorsed this one individual whose behavior is in question. 6 individuals have publicly said to the community that this is the person that should represent y'all at a state level because she's just all of that in the bag of chips, right? We already know 6 commissioners have done that. We also know that it only takes 6 votes to be a majority. We also know that if you see any and all of these documents or some of these documents, you will also know that 5 of the 6 individuals knew that all this mess was going on. They absolutely knew, and they didn't say anything, and some of them just didn't do anything at all. So no matter how you slice or dice this, cut this, publish it, not publish it, I think the world is going to look in at how county business is taken care of or not, processes that are followed or not, procedures and policies that govern this type of work, govern the way we address these type of issues, if it was actually taken into account or not. I think that this is a continuation of how the county has done business over the years, where they've had at least two Michigan State police reports, because it only took one person to make an accusation, to say something, regardless if it was true or not. And then the county just went wild with it, went wild and did this and pulled that and called the police and da da da, and follow the money, y'all. Because when all of this stuff is happening, your tax dollars is paying for it. Your tax dollars is paying for all of this foolishness, investigations, all of the staff having to dig and produce documents and blackout documents. Lawyers are being paid. Law firms are getting rich. Legal opinions flying here and there. Everything but securing housing, advancing people's jobs and career, making sure people are healthy, safe, alive. Everything but is what's happening. And that's the sad part. And in my opinion, and this is just my own, that's what Kalamazoo County government is known for, especially in these last several years. Just messiness, just a bunch of mess. Yeah. So the question is, am I planning to vote? No, I'm not voting on that mess. I'm abstaining. This has nothing to do with me. This is not my fight. Either way it go, El Rico, if I vote, they're going to say I did it because I'm vindictive. I did it because I'm mad because I didn't prevail in the August election. I voted against it. Or I don't got time for all of that. This did not start with me. They never came to me and said, Stephanie, this is what's going on as a commissioner and in your role, functioning as a board member. Could you work with us to help us do? You didn't engage me, talk to me, bring me in on this. I ain't getting in on it now. This ain't my stuff. I'm not the majority, as you can tell. I'm not. I don't get to sit in those rooms and in those conversations. I'm not put on those emails. I'm not given that information. So you didn't bring me in then. I'm not coming in now. I'm going to mind my business. I'm going to still keep doing my work. And I'm going to do my best to represent all of Kalamazoo, make sure y'all healthy, safe, everybody have access to the resources, the tools, the relationships, whatever you need to get what you need. I'm gonna go home and sit my butt down somewhere and sip my tea and mind my business. Sound like a plan to me. So no, El Rico, I'm going to abstain. I ain't getting involved in that. I want to focus my work on helping the community, getting real work done. I want to focus on helping the county have the outward appearance that they should have, which should be strong, which people should respect county government. They should trust county government. They should trust the work that's happening at county government. That's what I want to focus my effort and my energy on. Those are the meetings I want to show up to. Those are the votes I want to be a part of. That's what I want to share my talents, my skills, my opinions, my lands, all of that too. Anything other than that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm a mind my business. It's not safe. I just want to breathe. I want to live myself. I want to just, yes, Khadijah, sip my tea, mind my business, breathe, get their knee off my neck, and help the people in the community. That's all I'm trying to worry about. So I got 4 minutes to get to the meeting. So I'm going to thank you all for tuning in. I invite y'all to the county commission meeting. I think Shona put the link here in this here. So you can click on the link. You can join the Zoom. We do have public comment. Every person, you can get on Zoom. You can make comment. You can talk to for, I think, 3 minutes. You can say anything to your county commissioners. You could, now they don't respond. We don't answer questions and all of that, but you can definitely say what you want to say, have your voice be heard during public comment committee meeting. And we have 2 times for public comment. At the very beginning, our Chair Tracy Hall, will invite people to for public comment. And then after we conduct all of our business, the public hearings and all of that stuff, there will be another time at the end of our meeting for public comment as well. So you guys will be able to weigh in before and afterwards. I do hope that you join us, that you get online. If you don't have internet access and you can't get on Zoom, then you can call in. There is a call in number as well. But I invite you, even from your phone, if you got Zoom downloaded on your phone or whatever, I invite you to join us and get on and watch. I want you all to watch and see your tax dollars at work. I want you to pay attention to this business meeting. I want y'all to see how the dollars and the resources are flowing or not at county government. And hopefully that will inspire some people to run for office in the next 2 years, to start working right now to prepare to run for office, to serve on boards, committees, advisory boards, to think about being on neighborhood association boards, to be more involved in the community so that you can have a front row seat, a voice, and a vote to what's happening throughout our community, and not just to react when things aren't going well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. See y'all in a few minutes on Zoom at the county board meeting. All right, y'all. Love, peace, and soul, positive vibes. God bless.